Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is very much a gourmet session on Shooting the Breeze tonight. I'm one of your hosts, Matt. As usual, I'm joined by Ben, and today we have our very first return guest. It is none other than Jay Wade himself. How you doing, my man?
I'm not doing too bad, guys. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for the invite back, man.
Of course.
Had an absolute blast last time.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun, and based on what our conversation was before the show, this is going to be even more. It's going to be a fun on a whole different level. Jay Wade, would you mind introducing the topic?
Okay, well, I've always been like I'm interested by a lot of things. But another thing that I'm interested in are like survivalism stories, such as the Donner Party or the movie Alive with the rugby team stranded in the Andes. And as you had brought it, I don't want to mess it up. You had brought it up earlier. I just know it as the Terror. But what is it? The Franklin?
The Franklin Expedition.
Yes, Franklin Expedition. Situations like that where you're in a group of people and you're stranded somewhere and you have to live. But beyond that, you know, depending on how long you're there, you may get to a tricky place where you may need to think about eating some of your fellow people to live. I mean, obviously you want to live off the land and the wildlife that's around first, but depending on where you are in the situation and how stranded you are, man, you might lose all that, and you're gonna have some hard decisions to make. And then once you've made that decision, then you're gonna have even more thinking to do because it doesn't end there. It's not as easy as obviously if someone obviously people dying on their own, you're gonna eat them first. I'm just gonna jump full feet in here real quick because it's something like this you got to.
Yeah.
But you're gonna eat the people who die naturally, or maybe not naturally, but on their own first. But what if you get to that point where you don't have anyone left to eat and no one's really sick, no one's looking to die on their own soon? You're going to hold out for as long as you can, but you're going to eventually get to a point where you're going to have to at least have the conversation out loud with everyone. Are we going to get to the point, and when is that point when we need to look at killing someone in order to eat them to survive, for the numbers to thrive and for the rest of the group to survive? It's kind of crazy to think about, but I find it extremely fascinating, and there's a lot of thought that goes into it as far as who do you eat first. It's kind of, I was thinking about this on my drive back from the doctor's today, man. Survivor. It's kind of like you got to think kind of like who do you want to keep around, or not want, but who do you need to keep around? You're obviously like, say it gets to that point where we're like, okay, we're gonna have to, someone's going to have to die. Like we're gonna have to kill someone to eat them. Obviously, you would kind of want to take volunteers, because you don't want to forcefully. You know what I'm saying? But what if like a big strong guy steps forward because he's a real man and he's like, dude, I'm going to sacrifice myself for you guys. You go ahead, kill me, eat me. I'm sorry, buddy, but no, because we need you, because you're a strong, healthy individual. We need you to help do things to keep us all go. You know what I mean? You got to kind of think about it in that context as well. So there's a lot of thought that goes into this.
Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. If it gets to the point where nobody volunteers, how would you decide who goes first? Like if,
okay,
say, nobody, like, say you had to draw straws or whatever. Like, what would be your method to determine that?
Well, you can't draw straws either, because then again, what if the big healthy guy that you need there the most? What if he draws a short straw? You can't do that. I'm sorry. This is not a democracy moment right here. In my mind, obviously the ill and the elderly would be the first. The ill, obviously, because they're already sick and they're already hard to take care of. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. The elderly, because they've lived full, long lives. No offense to you, and I honestly, I think that a lot of folks in that category of the elderly, I think they would understand and they would not have an issue with that, to be honest. Especially the generation like my grandparents' generation or even my mom and dad's generation. I don't think they'd have an issue with that. So that's who I would look to first. Now, after that, that's when it gets tricky, and this is where people start to look at me a little funny. But you gotta hear me out here. But I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to say that after the ill and the elderly, the children come next. Now, my thinking here has not. People always laugh, and it's a big joke, and it's funny, veal, that sweet young meat,
God.
No, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, it might taste better, but whatever. That's like a cherry on the top of the sundae. Where I'm coming at from this is, if you're to that point where you've been there so long that you've lived off the land, you've lived off the wildlife, you've eaten all the people who have died without being killed, and you're to the point where you've had this discussion, which I can't even imagine having this discussion with people, but you've had the discussion, you've made the decision, we will kill people in order to eat them. When you get to that point, I wouldn't want my children to have to live through what's going to come after that hell. Because if you're at that point, you're well past. We can hold out another few weeks. We can hold out another 6 weeks. We can hold out. No, if you're at that point, you're like, dude, we don't know if we're ever going to get out of here. And I would not want to subject children to that. I mean, imagine that horror, because they're not stupid. They're going to know, Mr. Johnson that I used to play sticks and marbles with or whatever, he's not here anymore, and I have a meal now. Kids aren't stupid. They're going to know what's going on, and I wouldn't want to subject them to that kind of horror. So they would be the ones to go after the elderly and the ill.
So what sparked your interest in this, if you don't mind me asking? Was it like a specific historical event, seeing it in a movie?
Well, no, it was a real life kind of experience. I was really hungry, and the McDonald's didn't have 24-hour drive-through at the moment. And I heard my neighbor's kid screaming through the wall. It was like 11 o'clock at night, dude, and I was just really annoyed. I was hungry. I wanted the kid to shut up, and I was like, okay, that's it. Kids got to go after the ill and the elderly. I don't know. I would have to say, from watching like a Donner Party documentary or something like that, and just think like I'm one of those people where I like to put myself in the mind state and in this position of others. Like, and it's not just happy-go-lucky stuff. It's like American Psycho. Put yourself in his position, in Christian Bale's position. Live the movie through his eyes and go on his wild, fun ride. It's a movie, you know what I mean? So I like to put myself in those positions and imagine what it would really be like. And beyond what I'm hearing, like in the documentary, for example, you're hearing what you're hearing, and then we don't know other things. So you got to kind of let your imagination fill in the gaps. So I imagine, did they have that conversation? Was that ever really brought up when someone's like, honey, I'm sorry, but like we got to think about killing somebody because, like, you know what I mean? But probably a documentary. I don't know. To be honest, I could have just been sitting around listening to some music and just started thinking about it.
Hey, man, fair enough. That's for me, like, my fascination with this type of thing is usually on the other side of it, which is probably why I'm very fascinated by Franklin's Lost Expedition, like we mentioned earlier. Because with that one, nobody knew what happened because essentially they had to rely on word of mouth from any Inuit that were encountered on future expeditions. So nobody really knew until the 1980s when they were able to exhume the bodies of three of the men. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you recall exactly what they found when they exhumed those bodies? I've seen a documentary on that too, but it's been so long.
Just give me a second. I've actually got the Wikipedia page up right here. That would have been 1986. So yeah, basically they found that they showed signs of lead poisoning, which is one of the main contributions, more so than to kill off the early folks, right? Because back then, when this expedition was announced, they weren't given the normal amount of time between announcement and departure, so they had to hastily get the rations ready. And by doing that, it was shoddy craftsmanship on the people who made the cans, and so the lead slowly seeped into the food. So by that point, it just accumulated until it killed a whole whackload of people.
Yeah.
Let's see what else there was.
I'll tell you one thing. Talking about all this makes me look at Good Against Island a little differently.
Yeah.
What's that?
Makes me look at Good Against Island a little differently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that. Who would you guys eat first?
I don't. That's really not something I want to think about.
Well, I'll continue then, because it goes even further than that. Because I mean, you got to say you go through all the kids, then you're left with the adults. And I hate to say it, but I'm one of them. Bigger people go next after the kids, and my reasoning for that is because someone might think you want to keep the bigger people around longer because they're bigger. So, if we need to wait even longer, then you know what I'm saying, kind of that bigger portion of a meal. But the more you think about it, no. The longer you go in this situation, the more weight us bigger folks are going to lose. Therefore, you're not going to have as much to feast on.
Sorry to interrupt you just for a second. I figured I might as well show this. This is the picture of one of the corpses that they exhumed for the Franklin.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
1980, in the 1986. So good 120 years after the expedition.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing how well preserved that is.
100%. Yeah. All his skin was still intact and everything.
Man, he's kind of hot.
Okay.
But yeah, bigger people got to go next after the kids, because you don't want them to. Yeah, and I'm in that group too, man. I hate to say it. And I wouldn't fight it either. It's just the way it is, dude. Most of it's my decision. So my eating habits and lack of exercise have put me in the position where, y'all are going to have to hit me in the head with a rock until I'm dead, and then you can roast
kill me first,
whatever.
please.
Yeah, just don't. Really though, not to go there, but please don't roast me like a pig on a fire. I don't want to stick up my ass and out my mouth, dude. Please. Please, man. Like, please.
But you never know.
But if you do, obviously you're not going to have an apple or any kind of fruit or anything like that, or else you would have eaten that and not me, I would hope. But get a pine cone or something and put in my mouth. I mean, if you're going to do that to me, try to make it like as Hawaiian themed as you can or something. Make some leis out of some foliage or something on the ground. I don't know, whatever.
Okay, so this is going to be wild out there, but say you're an actual cannibal, not like stuck in an expedition or whatever. You're an actual cannibal. How would you serve up the meat? Like, what would you be your preferred cut of it? Would it be would it be a steak, ground beef?
I would prefer a steak. Yes. Medium rare. Please.
Medium rare.
I want to be able to stick my fork into it and have some blood run out.
How about you, Ben?
No comment.
Okay, what would you serve with it?
No comment.
No, I know. I caught that. I'm just asking now. What would you serve with the meat? I'd probably go with I like
corn on the cob.
Yeah, corn on the cob would be good.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
Some potatoes.
Yeah.
Some potatoes. Make some potato wedges or something like that.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese, even if you've got that around the jungle. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure it's not known that people just in the native tribes in the jungle are the only people who eat people. There are tons of people in the real in the civilized world who eat people. So I shouldn't say that, but y'all get what I mean.
Yeah. So and then drink a choice: beer or wine.
I like some red wine.
I do like my red wine. Yes.
I'm not a big drinker, but if I'm gonna be eating somebody, then I'm gonna do it up in style, and I think I would. I don't know what I would have to have samples of wines until I determine which one I like, because I've never. The only time I've ever had wine was communion when I was a kid.
Really?
So the wine and the little
Yeah,
cracker
yeah, yeah, yeah,
thingy.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm with you. Grew up Catholic, but yeah, no. If I were to choose one up,
Episcopalian at this church was Episcopalian. I'm not. It's some sort of Catholic offset or something. I
yeah,
don't really know, but we called the dude Father. It was Father Tom. I remember his name. I was only like fucking 4 or 5 years old, man. I remember all kinds of stuff about that church. But anyway,
yeah,
yeah, we did. But what was weird was I was that young, but I loved taking communion because it was like I got to drink alcohol. Like it was like, well, if you're going to take communion, then you have to drink it. And I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, let's do communion.
Yeah, I
So,
still
but
remember the very
anyway.
first time I tried it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, so I guess technically you and I, at least, I don't know about Ben, but you and I, at least, we have eaten human flesh, being the little cracker of the
Yeah,
body
in the
of Christ.
metaphorical sense, yes.
Yeah, and then we drank his blood.
Okay, I have a question.
What's up?
As I guess, only here.
See, he's the one who killed the guy we're eating.
Oh, man. Ben, when the search party finally made it to the site, you would be the last person left alive, and you would just be sitting there with a big grin on your face, like, hey.
Yeah.
People kosher.
I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know.
You're gonna have to explain for me and probably some of the people watching what exactly is kosher.
I think it is. I don't really know more detail, but as best as my knowledge, bless my rabbi. The rabbi had to do a special blessing on meat and
okay.
anything from an animal.
Huh.
Food or premises in which food is solid, cooked, or eaten, satisfying the requirements of Jewish law. Genuine or legitimate. Is what it says here on the Google.
The person doing the eating is.
I don't know. See, because well, it's weird because I don't know how to. I'm kind of, because I don't want to come off like I'm a fucking nutbag, dude. But
We're past that. No.
I don't. I mean, obviously, I would feel bad eating a human being. You know what I mean? It would really fuck with me. But I would. I'll just say this, dude. If it came down to a dog or a human, I would eat the human over the dog any day.
Really?
And speaking of eating dogs, if I ever went to a country, I am kind of one of those when in Rome kind of guys. If I ever went to like South Korea, and I don't know if they do, but Vietnam, South Korea, one of those countries where they eat dogs, I would probably try it. I would never eat a dog that I know, like my friend's dog or anything like that. But if I go to another country and they're like, and I don't see the actual dog, but they're like, throw me some meat, and they're like, yeah, this is dog meat. I'd try it, dude. What the hell?
Fair enough. Poor Fluffy.
Matt, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember that scene in the Cindy Snickers 2? When Greg and Krishna and then they're talking about eating each other?
Oh, yeah. And then, what's his face? John Lovitz gets upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, underrated comedy, folks.
Yeah.
So now, to deviate a little bit off topic, have you guys ever had any like exotic meat that's not human? And if so, which one was your favorite?
I think I had bison. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's exotic or not, but
I've had a burger once that mixed, was it buffalo, beef, and kangaroo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a place nearby that had, well, I don't know if they're still open now after those COVID stuff, but they had they had like alligator and snake and that kind of stuff you could get there. I've never been there. I always wanted to go because I always wanted to try alligator. But I will say that, and I mean, I'll just say it, man. I'll just be honest here because this was like, I'm 41 now and I was like 19 when this happened. So, everyone's been young.
Statute of limitations is over.
Yeah. And thank God my mom and dad don't know I'm on this one or they'd be watching right now. So, but no, when I was about 19 or so, every group of friends that parties, at least every group of friends has that one friend whose mom and dad are cool as hell and lets everybody party at their house.
Yeah.
So we had our group or our buddy whose parents always partied with us and let us party there. So we're out there one night, and at this time it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I had taken some LSD earlier in the night, and I was out there, dude, like having a good time. And this dude's dad was like total outdoorsman, had huge beard and long hair, always had his shirt off and had his leather pouch, hemp necklace around his neck and big old Bowie knife, and he's cooking up this food in the kitchen, and it smelled so good, dude, so good. And I'm like, I'm just so interested. I'm like, I mean, it's probably because I'm tripping too, but I'm hovering over him like, dude, what is that? Like, that's awesome, dude. That smells so good. Blah, blah, blah. Just yabbing his ear. He gets it done. He cuts me off a piece. I taste it, and I'm like, dude, that is awesome. I'm like, what is that? I'm just thinking it's rabbit. Because, I mean, I know it's not a steak. It's an animal of some sort. And I'm like, what is that, rabbit? And he's like, no, it's squirrel. And I'm like, dude, that's cool. Didn't faze me at all. Squirrel, whatever.
Yeah.
I go, when you shoot it today or something like that, inquired as to how he got the squirrel. And he says, I found it on the side of the road today. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, you hit it and then got out and got it? Which I can live with. I don't know how it is there, but like when you hit a deer out here, you take that deer with you to the butcher and you get that fucking meat.
It's illegal to do that where I'm from.
Okay, see, it's illegal unless you have it tagged. Here you have to call the county sheriff. They come out to the site and they tag it and all that. But yeah, you hit that thing, you take it home and eat it. So I'm like, you hit it, right? And he goes, no, I found it. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He's like, it was still warm, kind of. And I'm just like, I got instantly sick. I was like, dude, that's fucking disgusting.
No.
So that's my exotic food story.
Yeah, that's definitely going to top anything I have. Man, like, that's
terrible.
Way to portray stereotype, my dude. Like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, I live in the Midwest, man.
I was 19. And this is the very first time I brought a girl over to meet everyone in my family.
Oh boy.
And my grandparents had a hobby farm. And this year, my grandma was like, we're not going to do turkey this year. Okay, what are we going to have? That goose that's over there. Okay. So lo and behold, come Thanksgiving, we find out there's no meat on a goose. Barely any meat for a group of 8. Yeah, it was all rib cage, so it was pretty much the only vegetarian Thanksgiving my family ever had. Because there was nothing on it at all.
Wow, I never would have imagined that.
Yeah, me neither.
They look freaking huge. I've been attacked by a Canadian goose before, dude. Yeah, one of your country's stupid geese attacked me once, man. Left me with fucking scars and shit, dude. Oh man, it was terrifying for real, dude. It was like a movie, dude. It really was. And like I fell over a car. I turned around so fast to run. I hit the corner of a car, and that made me bruise my knee, and I fell, and I had shorts on, and I hit my other knee and scraped it, and then I got up, and then that thing was still coming at me, and I jumped on the ground so it didn't drill me, and I bruised up, and dude, and it's true, man. It's true. Guys, I'll tell you. Don't fuck with Canadian geese eggs.
They're one of the most vicious animals we have up here.
I was just looking, dude. I was just looking at its nest to see if there were any eggs there. They were nowhere in sight, dude. And then just out of nowhere, my coworkers were like, "It's coming! it's coming. And I'm just like, holy shit. And that thing was just, woo. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
wow, I've been attacked by a
they're
goose
assholes.
before.
That's all I can say is they're assholes.
Yeah, he was a dick, dude. Canadians are nice, my ass. That dude was a dick.
Oh, we have our fair share of jerks up here too. Don't worry
I'm
about
just
that.
kidding.
Yeah. So, what about you, Ben? Is there any meat? Is there any meat you would like to try?
I'm thinking. I wouldn't mind trying an ostrich burger.
Oh yeah.
That is pretty good. Maybe a duck. I know that's not.
Duck is good.
Yeah.
I wonder what exactly is illegal to eat in the U.S. Because I know, like, you can't eat a horse. I don't think.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one. It's illegal to.
I don't know. Like, I mean, dogs, obviously, dogs and cats.
I would never eat a dog or a cat.
Me neither. Well, not here because but if I was in another country where they did, I probably would.
Okay, so here's food that is banned in the United States. So this is going to include not just meat. Absinthe the liquor absinthe is actually banned.
Oh, right.
The pure stuff. Ackee, which is the national fruit of Jamaica, which contains a substance that suppresses the body's ability to release its supply of glucose. Fun. Casu marzu, which is a traditional Sardinian cheese developed from larvae of flies.
No thanks anyway.
Yep. And because of the flies and stuff, it's unpasteurized. You're supposed to eat it before the maggots die. Okay, that's gross. Chileans. Sorry?
I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
You know that scene in Temple of Doom?
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, as a kid.
Yeah.
Gross the shit out of me.
I wonder if it's illegal to eat monkey brains.
Oh, that would be... I would not be able to handle that at all.
You're right. Horse meat is illegal in the States.
Okay, I thought it was.
Yeah, and so is Japanese pufferfish, but I think that one might be more common knowledge.
Yeah, that's because it's just poisonous and shit.
Is that one from The Simpsons?
I think so, yeah.
I think so,
that puffer fish. I think that was the first season. I think.
Let's see. And then wild beluga caviar, which wouldn't be cheap to begin with, and shark fins. Yeah,
which, man, I had heard about a shark fin soup before, and people were outraged about it all and stuff. And I just I'd never really heard anything about it. But then I saw a clip of a video of them like catching a shark, like reeling it up, hacking its fin off with a machete, then hacking its neck open so it bleeds out quick and just tossing it back in the ocean. And it just made me so sick.
If you don't cut its neck, then it's gonna die anyways because it doesn't have its form of control. It's defenseless.
Which is kind of fucked up, really, because it's like, okay, you're such a piece of shit that you're gonna fucking catch this animal, bring it up, hack its fin off with a machete, but like you care enough to go ahead and finish it off before you throw it back in the ocean. It's like, dude, I don't know but yeah, that made me sick. That was terrible.
Yeah, it's not something I'd ever want to try, and I do love sushi.
You know something else that really has pissed me off for a long time? I'm sorry, go ahead, Ben, go ahead.
No, I really think I love sushi too.
Something that's been pissing me off for a long time, because I mean, like the whole dolphin thing, since I was in high school, man. Probably my sophomore year, and a lot of it probably has to do with because, well, not a lot of it, but I met a chick, and she liked dolphins, and but anyway, the dolphin issue, dude.
Yeah.
I feel so outraged and so extremely bad for all of those poor tuna getting caught in the net when they're fishing for the dolphins. It's just terrible, dude. And it's like, I don't know, freaking poor tuna, man. Getting caught up in the mess. I don't know.
Yeah, only ever eat albacore tuna. Yeah, I'm a big tuna guy. That's my go-to.
You like yellowtail?
Do I like what? Sorry.
Yellowtail?
Yellow. I don't think I've actually ever had that one, and I've had a lot of different type of fish. I've had catfish. I've had red snapper, rainbow trout. I've had
catfish.
Yeah, my the only time I ever had that was when I went back to Quebec for the very first time, and my dad's old friend knew of a place that sold it down the road. So, yeah, yeah, I love my fish.
Yeah, fish is good, man.
Yeah, especially my favorite is to be smoked salmon.
Yeah,
yeah. Now I'm craving it, but it's too expensive.
I'm still trying to figure out what part of the human body would maybe taste the best. Because I would assume someone out there has actually tested this out and made a scale, but I don't know where to find it at.
If I had to guess, I would think the thigh.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe the ass cheek or something. Maybe I don't know.
The flank.
But that might be. Is that fatty though, or is that meaty? I'm not sure.
I don't know, and it's really not something I want to test.
Maybe the side of the body would be some meat. Maybe
the ribs.
Yeah, like under the love handle part, because the love handle part, like I got them now that I'm feeling down here. I got some fatty love handles.
Hello.
Come on, ladies, come grab these handles and go for a ride.
How about the nose? Do you think the nose would be tasty?
No, because there's no meat there. It's all cartilage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. See, and like the people, was it cow's tongue that people eat cow's tongue?
I've actually, when I was a kid, I did have a fancy for pickled pork tongue.
Really? So an animal or a living thing's tongue can taste good?
You have to pickle it for it to be edible, but the consistency honestly reminded me of bologna.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, that always seemed like an odd one to me, like eating the tongue of something.
Looking back at it now, because I don't have that taste for it anymore, it definitely grosses me out. But yeah, there was a couple years where I actually enjoyed eating it because my grandma loves it.
How about the leg?
The leg?
From the knee to the ankle.
Maybe that wouldn't have that much fat on it compared to everywhere else.
I don't know. That's really weird conversation.
It really is, but I'm with you though. Somewhere in the leg would probably be the best part on a human body.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. Maybe someone does have it.
Maybe. All I know is now I'm hungry.
What's the best part of the human body? If you had to eat a human, what part should you eat? The brain and muscles are probably your best bet, according to Yale certified nutrition Dr. Jim Stepani. Muscles offer protein, and the brain would provide slow-burning energy since it's high in fat and glucose. As far as what is the tender, humans who do bend at the waist use the same muscle as tender muscles. The tenderloin, basically. I'm not sure exactly where that would. Maybe that is, which runs along the lower spine, but tenderloin is the most tender part of the human body to eat.
Yeah.
How long does it take to eat a human body? Now I'm starting to take myself down a rabbit hole. About 6 to 8 hours for food to pass through your stomach after you eat it. Wow. So yeah, that person's sticking around for a while.
That's the one thing we haven't put up. It's passing through you.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite type of animal to eat?
What's my favorite animal to eat?
Like you go towards more like a cow for the beef, the steak. You go more towards the pork for the chops and the ham.
Dude, you give me a steak from a cow, dude. I'm good to go. That's really where it's at for me. My issue is I can never get a steak big enough. Okay, you ever seen The Great Outdoors?
Once, yeah, a long time ago.
You know what I'm talking about, Ben?
Yeah.
With John Candy and Dan Aykroyd?
No, never saw it. It's on my list to see it.
Well, there's a huge steak in that. They call it like the old 69er. It's like a 69-ounce steak. That's what I want. That's what when I'm looking on a menu and I'm like, I want a steak. I don't want some puny like like that big a round steak, which I guess is big to most folks. I want like a huge effing steak, dude. That's like that thick. You know what I mean? Like a brisket, dude. Bring me a whole, like a huge table-sized brisket, and I'm happy.
Yeah, amen, man. I'm with you there. Give me a good old ribeye steak on the barbecue with like some seasoning. I'm in heaven. But I've always wanted to do that though. Go to a restaurant and try their biggest, like a concept like that if they actually exist. I've never seen it up here, but
Do you guys like hot dogs?
yeah.
If it's like real meat, as long as it's not all the processed shit, because that's just gross to think about.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I've had some interesting hot dogs too. I've had bear sausage before.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How's bear taste?
It's not bad actually.
Like chicken?
No.
I hate when people like it tastes like chicken. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. But shut up. Everything tastes like chicken to some people. It's irritating.
Oh yeah, bear was a little tough, but it wasn't overall that bad. Yeah.
What kind of hamburgers do you guys like?
Oh, dude, give me an Angus all day.
Angus, yeah, good stuff. I do like deer meat. Is the meatballs in spaghetti? So spaghetti and deer balls.
Buffalo.
That's some good shit.
Buffalo is my favorite ground beef. That's not beef. And what I like to do is in the stores, Cracker Barrel sells this macaroni, like a casserole thing to cook in the oven. And what I like to do is do all that, but I like to cook up ground beef and throw that in there and make it like that. And I've been doing it recently with buffalo, man. That is the best. So freaking good.
Yeah. Dude, something else just occurred to me. Because my mind is still in the eating people in the survivalism mode.
You and Roxy would get along.
That would be awesome. Okay, so you're to that point where you're killing people to eat them, right? And you're obviously you don't have much to work with as far as supplies and all that kind of crap. So like we're all well aware that the natives to North America they used every part of the buffalo that they killed. They used every part of the elk and that kind of stuff. Like they found a use for everything. So how far would we take it? I mean, would we just eat them and then discard what we didn't eat? Or would we eat them and then use the bones to make things to help us out? Would it be going too far to use their skin to make a coat or whatever you need, a blanket, to make whatever, to patch a hole in your tent? You know, I mean, like, is there a line? Because, I mean, we're already to killing people to eat them. So, I mean, as long as you're not, like, disrespecting their body parts, is there a line?
Who are you, Ed Gein? No, actually, no. Like, I honestly would go the route of trying to get everything you can, essentially, and then like that's a good idea to use the bones or whatever to like make tools or whatever you need to survive. But I'm definitely of the camp of eat everything you can. Definitely don't discard it.
Yeah, but could you imagine using a hey honey, we're gonna need a piece of gym there. And patch up the hole in the tent. You know, I mean, and then you're laying in bed at night. Okay, you're laying in bed at night, and it's a full moon. And obviously, with it being a full moon, there's still some light coming through the tent, right?
Yeah.
But that one little patch of gym, there's a lot more light coming through that patch, so you can't stop or you can't not notice it.
Yeah, when you go and you're telling your story, if you survive, is like, oh, and we had Jim so-and-so, and he was a big help on this expedition.
Yeah. Or making a skin blanket, too. That would be kind of gnarly. Like, really weird, but like, I mean, hey man, it could save your life. Who knows?
Have you ever seen any of the pictures from Ed Gein's shack? Because he did that.
Yes, yes.
Did you ever see the nipple belt?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
It's you know
Okay,
who Ed Gein is, right? Ted?
I'm sorry, who is it?
Okay, so basically,
Oh,
Ed Gein
dude.
was the inspiration for Leatherface, for Hannibal Lecter, and for what's his
Silence
face?
of the Buffalo.
And Buffalo Bill. So in the 1950s, he two women disappeared, and nobody really knew anything about it. And he was essentially like I wouldn't say the town simpleton, but he was just the guy like, oh, give him a bone sort of thing, right? Well, anyways,
Right.
The second girl lady that he killed, the next day, her son, who was the deputy sheriff, showed up to her store where she worked, and he knew something was off because there was pool on there, blood on the floor, and lights were still on and all that shit. So they were like, okay, Ed Gein's been hanging around here a little too much. So they went to his house, and when they did, they found this lady's body gutted like a deer, no head. So that's gross enough. And then they
thought it was an animal at first. And that's how bad it was. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. And then
this is some gnarly shit, man.
It is, yeah. You think it's from a movie, but it's not. He inspired. But anyways, they went inside. They found a paper bag, and they went in, and they found the head of the lady that died a few years earlier. He made essentially what he made a vest. So he could feel like a woman.
That like a suit of the woman and padded the breast, and he would wear that at night. Yeah. He had a box of private parts and I think noses and private parts under his bed.
He made a lampshade out of human skin. He used parts of skull for bowls.
Yeah, for like cereal bowls and trash cans. Like would use their torso for trash cans and shit.
And the aforementioned nipple belt. He made a belt just for nipples because he also used to grave rob before he killed those ladies.
Yeah.
Grave rob.
Yeah, he started just doing grave robberies.
Please tell me they got him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they discovered, they arrested him and everything. He died in prison. No, they took care of him. Don't worry about that because it's one of the most heinous crimes that ever happened in the States.
Speaking of tents, man, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of pitching one right now, dude. I'm totally. I love I'm so interested in serial killers and shit, man. It's absolutely insane.
If you want
nutty people.
If you want to learn more about it, I already knew quite a bit about it before I listened to this, but there's a podcast out there called Infamous America, and they take events like this and they break it down to episodes. Famous things like they did the crime of the century, which is Leopold and Loeb, one of the first calculated murders that ever got national headlines, just stuff like that. Lizzie Borden, but they did one at Ed Gein, and they also in the same episode they would also tell what during the making of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So they were telling both stories simultaneously. It was a really good listen. It's only 3-4 episodes, but I definitely would recommend if you want to learn more about it. I would recommend listening to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just try not to lose your lunch, Ben.
Yeah. Well, the dude, what was it, H.H. Holmes, who had the fucking murder house?
Yeah,
wasn't he a cannibal also?
No, he was just a masochist.
Okay. But yeah, his whole thing was that weird fucking house, dude. That torture house.
Wasn't he considered the state's first serial killer or something like that?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also theories out there that he's Jack the Ripper because a lot of
I've heard that theory.
There's a lot of similarities between how they're dealt with their victims.
Yeah,
and I think Jack the Ripper was definitely before Chicago.
Right on. Yeah, it was.
Albert Fish. Now that's an American cannibal. That one's disturbing. With him though was a little girl. Oh.
I've heard that. I've heard the name associated with cannibalism, but I'm not exactly familiar with the background of it. Can you fill us in?
I because he does it to a little girl, I would rather not.
That's okay. That's fine.
What I'll do is I'll send you the Wikipedia link after. Yeah, it's just because that one, it's like for me with children, that's where I understand your reasoning for it, but for me that's a little killing somebody for shits and giggles is a little too far, especially when it's kids.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we had Jeffrey Dahmer too, who actually at one point in his life lived nearby to me, about 45 minutes away, kind of down the road. Jeffrey Dahmer. There was a joke when I was in high school, or even earlier than that, like when they first got him. And I mean, whatever, jokes are jokes, but it was always, what did they find under Jeffrey Dahmer's bathtub? Heads and shoulders. Just little shit like that. I remember when they first caught him that was a big joke because he was from nearby, so everyone around here talked about it, or at least lived nearby at one point in his life.
We had a pretty big one in BC here that was discovered in 2010. Any of you guys ever heard of Robert Pickton?
No.
So basically, he would go after like prostitutes and hitchhikers and stuff. He would kill them. He would feed his animals, and then he would bury his remains on his hog farm.
Oh, I think I have heard about that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the amount of. How many people was he? 6. No, I'm not even seeing how many people. It was a lot. It was a lot of women. That's all I remember.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find it. That's just weird. And that on Wikipedia, they're not. He confessed to 49 murders.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, some people are crazy. Well, I mean, beyond crazy. If you're doing, you kill one person, you got mental issues. But multiple people and up in like 40s and shit, dude. Jeez.
Well, how about Ted Bundy? How about him?
Yeah, he's
dude,
definitely one of the more iconic.
Suave cat, man, but very arrogant and stupid.
Yeah, no kidding. We had this was a random one, but on a Greyhound bus in the prairies somewhere, some guy just randomly chopped off the head of somebody else on the bus.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people were afraid to get on that Greyhound after that.
Crazy. Well, I mean, obviously he was busted, right?
Oh, of course. He was busted, sent to jail, deemed insane, but I think he's out now.
But I mean, if he was busted, then why were people afraid to get on the Greyhound? What, they think it was a part of a cult that went around killing people on Greyhound?
Shit, what else can happen on a bus, right?
Well, true.
Yeah.
What did they use? What, like a machete or something?
Yeah, he had a fucking like a big knife like that.
Holy shit, dude! Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and people were watching him do this. It was like fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. How do people sit there and watch something like that happen, dude? I don't understand that kind of stuff either, dude. It's wow.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Yeah, I'm just giving you a second to try to find his name. Yeah, it happened in 2008.
And his name was Jay Wade. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was the killer's name is Vince Lee. He's a Chinese Canadian, and he killed a 22-year-old, stabbed, beheaded, and cannibalized him while riding a Greyhound bus along the Trans-Canada Highway.
So obviously no one witnessed him do this. Like he obviously did this. He obviously stabbed the person, cut their head off, ate some of them, and no one noticed?
Yeah, it happened. Well, it happened at night.
But I mean, how could no one notice this shit's going down? I've been on a Greyhound bus before. I think I would notice something like that.
Yeah, they got to the scene of the crime, and the other passengers were huddled outside, crying and vomiting.
Well, yeah. Holy shit, dude.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Not a way to get ahead in life.
Yeah, in 2017.
Oh, Ben, that's great. I love it.
In 2016, the Manitoba Criminal Code Review Board ordered that Lee be discharged, and he was.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You got to be kidding me.
No.
Wow.
We're not always that nice up here.
Well, no, that's the problem. Like I always say, you guys are too nice. All he did, was just cut someone's head off. It's about time we let him out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is probably up there with the Northwest Passage as my favorite. I don't know how exactly I would classify this, but definitely story involving death is the Mad Trapper. Have any of you guys ever heard of him?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds familiar to me too, but I'm not sure.
So hold on, I just got to bring up the thing so I can know the dates. But in 1932, there was a manhunt that was led throughout northern Canada in the middle of February for this gentleman who nobody knew where he came from. He was accused of messing around with people's traps and stuff like that. And when they went to talk to him, he started firing against police. There was a lot of standoffs, some of that. A police officer died. And then after they blew up his house, this guy managed to escape, and they chased him through the Canadian wilderness. He had no snowshoes. He had just the clothes on his back, a little bit of supplies, and he was like miles ahead of the RCMP and stuff like that. And it finally ended in a shootout where he got shot through the hip and died by somebody in a plane.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
dude. After all that, if he would have lived,
they dug him up a couple years ago and to get some DNA, and they still haven't figured out who he is.
Damn.
He's an American from the Midwest, based on
wow.
Yeah,
dude. If he would have lived that gunshot wound, I'm sorry, but I would maybe be a little bit inclined to be like, okay, dude, you get a pardon. I mean, kudos, man.
Is that blinking for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
It was kind of scary. I like it.
One more time.
No.
That's the Mad Trapper.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he looks crazy.
Yeah, this was his house this cabin that they destroyed with dynamite.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the photographs. And like I said, they still haven't figured out exactly who he is. Yeah. It's a fascinating story if you ever get a chance to learn up on it.
Yeah, I'm about to check that out. But yeah, that's pretty hardcore, man. Clothes on your back, no shoes, and you're that far ahead, man.
In the Yukon.
Yeah. It's like, dude, if you get away, have a good life. Good luck to you, man. Kudos.
Yeah, and the fact that he was like traversing mountains that the RCMP wouldn't even just said, fuck it, we'll get him on the other side. Like,
No, they went through all this only because he was messing with traps. I mean, he didn't.
No, he was messing with traps, and then he resisted arrest, and then he killed a cop.
Oh, that's right. You said that, the shootout. That's right.
Yeah. No, he killed a cop, and the guy that finally got him in was a famed World War I Canadian flying ace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did he shoot him like what? Did he have an old school warplane and he shot him with guns on the plane, or was he on a plane and he shot him with a rifle or something?
I'm not sure if it was exactly him. Like they figured it was him, but they don't really exactly know who did it. But they figured it was somebody in the plane. Yeah. Damn.
I wonder if you'd charge that person. I mean, because if they're a civilian, I mean, technically.
Well, they would have been recruited to partake in this manhunt at this point because they did bring in Inuit people.
Okay, I see. It was someone involved in the manhunt.
Yeah, exactly. He was involved in the manhunt.
All right. Now, see, how would you handle that if it was just some average Joe? You know what I mean?
Well, at that point, yeah, you'd have to arrest him.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
In reality, like it's not some sort of
oh,
thank you for saving our lives. No, you weren't supposed to be here. You killed him. You're under arrest.
Yeah, I mean, unless that person is in the act, unless you are in the process of defending someone or yourself at the time. But yeah, like if there's a manhunt and like I'm up in my blind and I see the dude that cops are chasing and I know that's who they're looking for and I shoot that person, I mean, you're helping out the cops, I guess, but you're not really doing the right thing either. So
yeah, there's a lot.
Now, I wonder if you did do that, would you be able? Would they let? Okay, so say I'm hunting, I'm up in my blind, and I'm aware that there's a manhunt. And, just from listening to the radio or whatever, I see this action going on. Here comes the guy. I know that's the guy. Cops are chasing him. They're having a shootout. I take out the guy, the fugitive that they're hunting, right? Okay, now I understand that I'm probably going to get charged with murder. Okay, I understand that. But the important question for me, guys, do I get to keep that body and take it home? Like, I mean, that was my kill technically. I mean, so I get to eat it, right? Because, like, if it were a deer and I shot a deer or an elk or a rabbit or something, I'd get to take that home and eat it.
I'm pretty sure cannibalism is technically illegal.
It's still a kill, dude. Come on.
I mean, you could ask for his head on your wall, but
That would be crazy.
you ever seen Hot Shots?
Yeah.
Yes, long time ago.
Yeah, there's a scene at the very beginning where when two characters meet, and one of them's like, I accidentally killed your dad. We had it for Thanksgiving. And they show a picture, and it's the dad's head on a wall. It's Ryan Stiles with the antlers.
Oh, man.
I
That's
love
great.
that movie. I love
Me
that
too.
movie.
Me too. I love Lloyd Bridges in that. God, what it would be give to be 30 years younger. And a woman. And on that note, Jay Wade, thank you very much for joining us and giving us this very interesting and actually really good topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm not only full of shit, dude. I'm full of good, interesting conversation ideas, too.
And for all we know, full of human.
Hey, man, for all we know, that's the shit I'm shitting out is human.
All right.
Maybe in my former life I was the very last person on the human centipede. Who knows, man? Maybe I've been through this before.
Okay, and on that note, where can everybody find you?
You can find me nibbling on baby legs over a fire somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, stranded, trying to survive, on Twitter at jwade1134. That's the letter J, WADE 1134. I do some other shows, and they're on my bio there. So,
right on, Ben.
Nom nom nom, baby fingers.
Yes, you gotta follow that.
Oh, man. You can find me at my Twitter, at BenRainer2. You can find me on the Media Twitter, network YouTube channel every Sunday with Matt on Get the Swinny. Every Saturday with Matt on Recapping the Past. Every Saturday on a different YouTube channel, Matt Smalldown. And every Friday, starting tomorrow, on my show, Ben's Hot Takes. You know, I'm going to take the entertainment news and I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, on it from the week.
And just so you know, it's not just Ben and I on this YouTube channel. We don't have a monopoly on it. We do have two other co-hosts on Get Sweaty, Jordan and Salt, and they also do have their own shows on this network, which you should check out. Soul Talk.
Soul Talk. Yeah.
And don't forget 50 Shades of Geek as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, good old 50. Hi, 50.
Yeah, hi, 50.
And you can find me over at soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. As Ben said, you can find me on all those shows that he mentioned here on the Media Sweaty Network. All of them are fun in their own right. And then you can find me over on my other YouTube channel, Schmoes of the North, where Louis, Dave, and Daniel and we break down the week in Schmodown news. We have tried to have Jay Wade on a few times, but those are the lost episodes. Unfortunately, something went wrong. Nobody knows what. And you can also find me on that other show over there, Northern Consultations, where we sit down and we interview people throughout the Schmodown, be competitors, behind the scenes people, whatever. This upcoming Tuesday, we are recording our interview with the one and only Jeff Snyder. So definitely check that out. So thank you very much for joining us. This is easily one of my favorite shows to do because, hey, we're just here to have fun and talk and make each other hungry, apparently.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shut up, cat, or I'm gonna eat you.
Good night, everybody.